I bleed silver with black, and I wear it with pride. Hold my shield to the sky. I'm a raider for life. 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 I'm a raider for life.
Touchdown, Raiders!
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Mikey Raider coming to you as I predicted with a hurt finger. And it's my middle finger. But I'm not throwing my middle finger at anybody. I'm coming to you with a mock draft 2.0 every Monday as I predicted until the draft. And next week will be my final mock draft. My 3.0, my finale. That'll be my draft picks for the future. And let's talk about it. What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Mikey Raider. This is Raider Football Talk, where each and every time I get online or I make a video, you're going to get some good stuff. Let's get it started, y'all. Let's not waste the pooch. But please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe button. Consider becoming a member of this channel for early, future, and exclusive content. Plus members-only live streams, members-only chats, members-only reactions. And I got donation portals down below. Trying to make a few bucks off of YouTube to pay my bills. If you'd like to buy me some tacos or coffee, you can do so down below in the donation portals. And I have a little bit of merchandise down below available as well. And let's move along. All right, Raider Nation. It's draft time. The draft is happening April 25th. Couple of Thursdays from now. And we're going to watch it live on this channel. We're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. Maybe I'm going to get drunk, crunk, but I'm definitely going to make a Raider recipe video vlog like I do every draft time. Why? Because drafting is the best time of the year besides the start of the Raider season. All right, you guys watched my last video, my mock draft 1.0. Let's get 2.0 started. But first, let's do some housekeeping. Let's talk about some latest news, some rumors, just for a split second, and see what's going on with our favorite team in the world, the Raiders. Follow me on Twitter. You got the information on the screen. All right, the Raiders released Jack Jones. They tried to trade him, but no team was biting, and now Jack Jones has been released. That was interesting and a surprise to me, as I thought he had a lot of moxie and he was going to make something happen. But let's be honest, without Antonio Pierce here, Jack Jones, well, he probably didn't fit. He was a project for Antonio Pierce. Then he came along and he did the best he could, but he just didn't fit the system and the people and the team completely for whatever barriers he has in life. But he did his best. I am not going to fault the kid. He's a nice guy, nice person, and I hope for a brighter future. But he bit, and he always tried to make the splashy play to get in the headlines, and he always had a comment that he kind of wanted maybe the fame and the splashy plays more so than doing the work on the field. But personally, in his own life, he kept the trouble and the problems to a semi-decent minimum. So I'm proud of Jack Jones. But clearly, I don't know if he bought in with this new team, why they released him, why they were trying to trade him, if he was mad that they got rid of Antonio Pierce, or maybe they just finally looked at the film footage and said, you know what? He's not a culture fit. He's trying to make splashy plays. He's probably pissed off Antonio's gone. And we don't know. But still, I'm rooting for you, Jack Jones. You'll probably go to Kansas City. You may have went somewhere already that I didn't know about. I didn't look it up. But yeah, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. I was rooting for the best for this kid. Leave it at that. Another player that kind of came across and I freaked out and I didn't really understand it was Ian Thomas, tight end from Carolina. Lot of prospects for him, but he hasn't put it all together just yet. But I don't know what this means for Michael Mayer Ian Thomas will probably, in my opinion, make the team. And he looks like built like a wide receiver as well. Will they try him at wide receiver? Kind of like Brock Bowers can do wide receiver? I don't know. Michael Mayer is still under contract. I don't really see him leaving, but there are some possible issues there. We're going to have to let it pan out, but I see Ian Thomas making the team. Maybe some other people don't, but that's what I see. But that was an interesting signing to me, to say the least. Now, let's officially look at from the Raiders.com, the official signings and transactions as of March. There it is from beginning to end. Max Crosby was signed. They waived a few players on 3-7. Michael Gallup as well. They terminated his reserve retired list. Malcolm Kuntz was signed. Adam Butler. They acquired Geno Smith. You know the rest. They signed Raheem Mostert. Signed Leaky Photo. I predicted the Raiders should have drafted him many years ago. But we got Leaky Photo and Ian Thomas. And we also got, and I didn't have the picture here, Devin White, the linebacker as well. I believe from Tampa Bay. We should have drafted Devin White when we had the chance many years back. But I think we went with, I forgot who else we went with. And the next pick was Devin White. So it should have been went to the damn Raiders. And then in April, they finally got Geno Smith, the multi-year contract extension. They re-signed Sam Webb, Charles Snowden, Jordan Meredith, Kene Muaga, Matthew Butler, and then they waived Jack Jones that we just spoke about. Well, at least Devin White is finally on our team. Probably 6 years too late, or whatever the case may be. But hey, we got you, Devin. We got you. All right, let's quickly look at some rumors and top stories according to Google. Sporting news. Everybody's putting out news and rumors right now. So this is the age of the season where you can't trust or believe anything you effing see. It's all a ploy for the draft to get leverage or gain this or fake news. Fake news. Fake news. It's what we're doing is fake news. But according to Sporting News, the Raiders are predicted to pass on Ashton Genty for a 6-time award-winning defender. If you want to read that story, you guys can read it. I'm not going to read it. Tom Brady's arrival increased Pete Carroll's Raiders' interest. Did it? You notice all they do is talk about Tom Brady now with Geno Smith and everybody else. Oh, Tom Brady brought him to the Raiders. It's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. Mark Davis, does he appreciate that? Is that what he wanted? Is he happy Tom Brady is now the face of the franchise? He probably is. He wanted to get a lot of the problems off of him. Remember, the fans were coming after him for not firing coaches and doing different things? So Mark Davis, he's like, Tom Brady, I'll try to sell you the team on the low, and you can do what you effing want and be the name and the face of the franchise and everything. But I guarantee you, when something goes good and they're saying Tom Brady did it, Mark Davis is going to want to get in the limelight and pretend that he did something good. So I don't know if I see that as a problem, but I just noticed that Tom Brady is bigger than the Raiders franchise, and he's bigger than the Davis name. And maybe you guys agree with it, maybe you don't. It's an interesting thought. Raiders add expatriate DeJuan Daniels as a part of a scouting shakeup. Don't you love the buzzwords? Don't you love the buzzwords? I'm going to have buzzwords in this title. Get a couple more views. So there it is. That's supposedly the latest news and rumors and whatever, if you will. We don't have to go into it. But let's just quickly talk about Geno Smith's press conference. I'm not going to watch it on screen, but I enjoyed what the young man had to say. Geno Smith was very elegant in his speaking, said all the right things, did all the right things. He does look like Tyrone Biggums from the Dave Chappelle Show. Huh? That's all I'm going to say about that. But I appreciate his words. Geno Smith made a fan of me in his press conference. And we got to root for the guy, whether we're really happy he's here, whether we wanted a quarterback drafted in the first round, whether we wanted the first pick for that excitement for the future, to start with a young, athletic quarterback. The Raiders did what they did. And whether we're all truly excited, I'm not. But we got to get on board. We got to give this dude a chance. And we got to hope that, clearly the Raiders are in it to win, to try to win now. They probably got a 2 to 3 year window with Pete Carroll. And he's going to put all his cards on the table. Geno Smith is one of his cards, one of his go-tos. So, again, I wouldn't have minded a rebuild, but I don't think Max Crosby would have been on board for a rebuild officially. So apparently this is like Mark Davis said a couple of years ago. This ain't a rebuild. It's a retool. Okay. Let's leave it at that. But hey, I'm excited for Geno. I was excited for Gardner as well last year. And I'm actually a little more excited for Geno this year after watching him speak. After watching Gardner Minshew speak, I realized he was going to be a closet head case surfer dude that doesn't really understand the team. And he's kind of like that nerd that they made fun of. They did all year last year. They made fun of him in the offseason or in training camp and all that. There's a lot of videos to prove it. So he was never really ingratiated to the team, probably because of his character. So it didn't work out. Hopefully they changed up their stuff with Geno. Geno came in, spoke really good. So I think Geno will be appreciated on this team even better than Gardner Minshew was per his character. And we got to root on Geno Smith to the best of our ability. Now, if we draft a first-round quarterback and or an early second-round quarterback, there might be some controversy if Geno falters early on. But let's not hope that. But long story short, I like what this team is doing. And in my opinion, just looking after it with John Spytek, he looks like he's building a team correctly. Again, he's retooling, but he's also going young on cheaper contracts, 1-year contracts, young players with upside that he did in free agency. We don't need to get into every free agent pickup. But again, I am no expert. But this seems different, and I know we say that every year, but this seems different in terms of getting Mark Davis, Pete Carroll, and giving Pete Carroll Geno Smith. And now it looks like John Spytek is here for the money stuff, playing money ball. The other guy from San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers that we fired, I think John Spytek from Tampa Bay, I think he's doing it right. And let's quickly look at some of the money stuff that he's been doing. And I think we finally got a good GM that is going to rebuild this team for the future in the first 3 years. And here's why. Let's quickly look at the... I wanted to show the official cap number. I guess I don't have the official cap space on screen. Sorry about that. I made a mistake somewhere. Made a mistake somewhere, y'all. I wanted to show the Raiders cap space. But we're around $42 million as of now. Take it from my word, we're at $42 million in cap space. And the rookie draft class will take around $7 million of that, according to everything that I've read online. So that'll bring us down to 35. But we're at 42 now. And then minus the draft class, that'll take us down about $7 million. So we'll be around 35, if you will. Now, let's look at the money tricks that John Spytek has been doing. Let's look at the Geno Smith money trick. He signed for $66 million guaranteed, and he was initially getting 31 to start this season. And now let's look how his extension plays out according to the experts. Geno Smith, there it is. His base salary is $24 million, which is $1 million less than what he was coming in for 25. And he was totally going to get $31 million in general. Now look at his regular roster bonus. $16 million. So that equates to, as you can see on the right, a guaranteed salary of $40 million this year. But he's got total 66 guaranteed. So that means if he's getting a guaranteed salary of this year of $40 million, he'll probably get $26 million next year guaranteed, and we'll look at that in a second. But look at this. His prorated, he had no signing bonus. He has no money per game because it's all being guaranteed, his salary. So the base salary for the season, he actually went down $1 million. Then they prorated a roster bonus. They did little money games, little money ball, and little money tricks to give him $16 million. So he added $9 million to his account, guaranteed this year, plus another 26 next year. But there it is. There's no workout bonuses. There's no bonuses for this or that. But there are incentives. I do not have them on screen. Are they incentives for all the two or 3 years of his extension? Or are they just for this year to earn an extra possible $10 million? I do not know that. Maybe I can look it up at a future date and we can go over those incentives together. But it's really interesting that they did this same type of money ball to Geno Smith, to Max Crosby, and to Christian Wilkins, as you can see on screen. There's the guaranteed money for Christian and Max. And if you compare it to other seasons, there's a lot of zeros because they're moving money around and they're making it work. They're finally living up to what the politicians and the rich people do to the tax. They're moving their stuff around and they're making it work. And I really, really appreciate that. So let's look at the 2026 salary cap. So as of right now, in 2026, next year at this time, we will have $129 million in cap space. But our active roster as of right now, and again, I wish I had it on screen. I think I deleted it on accident. But we have 72 players on our active roster right now. And now for 2026, we only got 26 players on our active roster. That equates to about 45 or 46 or 47 players that are on one-year contracts for a lower fee for 2025. So that shows you what John Spytek is doing in free agency and other stuff like that with contracts. So next year, we're going to have to retool again because we only have 26 on the active roster. But again, we're going to have about another $129 million in cap space so we can buy more players on one-year deals or this or that if the players in 2025 don't work out correctly. It's kind of like a year-to-year thing. It's just really interesting what they're doing. So we're going to have a lot of turnover. But again, if these 26 players that are still on the active roster as of next year, if they're good quality players under, contracts for multiple years and they're good players, then we already basically have a starting team. Not backups, but of good players under contract with another $129 million in cap space next year. And we started this year with 104, 105 in cap space or whatever it was. So the money is actually going up. And that's not even including the rate that they're going to raise the cap rate. They raise it a little bit every year. So that's as of right now. It's really interesting, y'all. And there's what they did to Geno Smith, $26.5 million in base salary. That's his entire guarantee. It'll be official. $40 million this year, $26.5 next year. Then there's the guaranteed salary of next year of $18 million. But add the 40 of guaranteed from last year or 2025. Add it to the 18, that only equals 58.5. But he supposedly got 66 guaranteed. Well, that's because of the base salary as we just spoke about. But there it is. And Max Crosby, Same thing, $30 million guaranteed next year. Christian Wilkins, hopefully he comes off injury. But there's the cap number on the right of the screen, the official cap number for Geno Smith. In 2025, it's $40 million. The official cap number, 2026, is $26 million. We could get rid of Geno in 2027 with no dead money, no dead cap hit, no this and that, because all of his money was guaranteed. We are doing some good money tricks and some good money ball. Now, let's just quickly look at 2027, when there's a possibility, like I just said, of getting rid of Geno and maybe or a Pete Carroll if it doesn't work out. So there it is on Geno Smith. If he stays in that third year, he will get a base salary of $39.5 million. But again, we can get rid of him or move on from him in that third year in 2027. There is no guaranteed money or salary. So he'll be a $40 million quarterback in 2027 if we keep him past the already $66 million guaranteed. Same thing for Max Crosby. And do you see what I'm saying? How these are interesting contracts? I'm not saying we will get rid of Max Crosby, but Max Crosby's got the guaranteed money in a 2-year deal that we just looked at a little bit. And we could get rid of Max Crosby in 2027. We could get rid of Christian Wilkins in 2027. And Jacoby Myers' base salary is voided and whatever. And if he signs with the team, he gets $2 million. But he might be gone as well. We have an option for him. But if you're looking at the 3 star-studded most expensive players for the Raiders, they're all on 2-year deals. They're all on 2-year deals, which sounds like the possibility length of Geno Smith and or Pete Carroll with the Raiders. So they are retooling every position but these main 3 positions. And then in 2 years, we can get rid of any of these players with no cap hits or no money problems or whatever the case may be. Again, I'm no expert. There might be some issues. But from what it looks like on screen, all of these players are on 2 years deals. So it's a 2-year window with Geno Smith, Max Crosby, and Christian Wilkins from my deductions of this roster. I like what they're doing. These are the official 2025 Raider draft picks. And officially we have 9 draft picks in round 1. And as we just spoke about, as of the contracts and the players in 2026, that we're going to need a lot of players. As we just spoke about, we're only going to have 26 on the active roster next year, officially signed. We're going to need some more draft picks. And we're going to need to build an undrafted free agency. And we're going to need more draft picks for this draft and next year's draft. And that's what leads me to this mock draft 2.0 that we're about to do. And we're about to talk about it. But now I started to put into my mock drafts trades. Looking at adding more draft picks to the team and stuff like that. So this is what the mock draft 2.0, for my knowledge and our pleasure and fun, is to learn about trades. Whatever the computer gives me as a trade, I might take the offer, I might not, but we need to add draft picks as we just looked at for this season and next season, and we need to add players. We need to add bodies to this team, because we're kind of rebuilding, even though they're going to call it a retool. But like, we only have 26 players under roster next season at this time. So that means we need another 27 or 28 players officially. Then in 2027, we only got like 16 players. What did I say that we have on the roster? 13! We got 13 total on the roster in 2027. So we're going to have to build the 2027 team with leaving Geno and Max like we just spoke about. But we're going to have to build the 2027 team in 2025 and 2026. So that's why we need more draft picks and stuff like that. And we're going to do that in today's mock draft. Now, the Raiders are having visits at different positions, and this is something to pay attention to. Why? Because they're probably going to draft a player or two that visited with the team. So we need to take a look at this for the analytical skills and to figure out who some of the draft picks might be for the Raiders, whether it be early on or at later positions in the draft. Now, this is just the offensive visits as of April 12th, 2025. I don't know if they're going to have a few more in the next week or two. We'll discuss that maybe on the next show. But here it is. Look how many visits they had at quarterback. They had Cam Ward, Will Howard, who might reunite with Chip Kelly, Jackson Dart, Ethan Garbage out of UCLA in a hometown or sort of close to Nevada, Tyler Shook, Shadur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Cam Miller, and Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Pretty much the big names. Pretty much the big names at quarterback. And we brought in a lot of quarterbacks. So, with that type of deduction, you have to think the Raiders are going to draft a quarterback. But why did they bring in so many? Of course, they're trying to put teams off and, take teams off of the scent of certain players or here or there. And the rumors for Shadur Sanders are not going so well right now. He might go to the New Orleans Saints with an injury to Derek Carr's shoulder or whatever news is coming out. I don't know if it's real or not. I mean, I'm sure he has shoulder issues, but he'll probably be ready for the start of the season if he doesn't have surgery. But still, Shadur Sanders is rumored to go to the Saints at 9 or the Steelers at 21. But the Raiders brought in a lot of quarterbacks, so you got to predict that they're going to look at a quarterback in this year's draft. So if you're going to do a mock draft, put a quarterback in there. That's just my prediction. Now look at running backs. We haven't had as many running backs visit as of quarterback. And we all know that we need a running back really badly. Maybe they're playing it close to the vest. They don't want to tell the other teams, hey, we brought in these running backs. They're on our roster. That's why they did it more so with quarterback and not running back as of right now. But they only brought in Ashton Jeanty and Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I don't think they're trying to tip their hand. Ashton Jeanty is rumored to go to the Raiders in almost every mock draft as of right now, so they don't mind bringing him in. Then, the GM, John Spytek, his son, and John Spytek revealed it on a podcast that his son said, you better draft Ashton Jeanty or I'm quitting the team. Something like that. Because he loves fantasy football, his son, John Spytek. Now, look at wide receivers. They only brought in 2. Again, they're keeping it close to the vest right now with these players. They met a lot more in the scouting combine that we're just not previous to. But these are the public Raider visits in the last month. And I'm sure they went to the pro days as well of some of these players. I didn't have all the information in front of me. But Luther Burden out of Missouri, he was on my mock draft 1.0 that I predicted. And we brought in Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we brought in Will Campbell, Charles Grant, and Caleb Rogers, who's a versatile offensive lineman, and they're all could play tackle. So, by looking at that, you can predict that I believe we're going to pick a quarterback, we're going to pick a running back, we're going to pick a wide receiver, and we're definitely going to pick an offensive tackle. That's what I get from this knowledge of these visits. And it might be one of those players. Now, let's look at the defensive side of the ball where we have a lot of holes as well. We brought in 2 defensive tackles in Yawa Black out of Iowa, Mason Graham out of Michigan. We brought in 3 defensive edge rushers, which is more than the defensive tackles. We brought in Olufemi Olajuwon out of UCLA, Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State, Josiah Stewart out of Michigan, and then now linebackers, we brought in 3 of them as well. Teddy Buchanan out of Cal, Linebacker Carson Schwessinger out of UCLA. A lot of players out of UCLA. Have you noticed that? Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. Zaire Frazier out of UTSA. Now we're looking at cornerbacks, and we brought in a lot of cornerbacks. Will Johnson out of Michigan. A lot of players out of Michigan is too. Why? Because Chip Kelly and those coaches played those teams. And probably Chip Kelly is mentioning those teams have some good players, and they caused a ruckus for me and my offense. Interesting. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. Safety Maliki Starks out of Georgia. And Nick Emawari out of South Carolina. So, what did I say? How many picks we had before on offense? I believe I said we had 9. Predict us through the visits, predicting getting a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, an offensive tackle or lineman. Then getting a defensive edge rusher, a linebacker, a cornerback, and or a defensive tackle and a safety per the visit. That brings you to 9 picks. So they are possibly tipping their hands at the positions they're going to draft from. I mean, it's all on screen. Again, I predict they're going to pick probably one from every position, and they're definitely looking at positions of need for this team. Now, the expert said this is the Las Vegas Raiders team needs, and it goes from left to right. According to the experts, they say the Raiders need a running back, wide receiver, quarterback, edge, safety, tight end, kicker, then cornerback, offensive tackle, defensive lineman, linebacker, inside lineman, punter, and long snapper. I believe that is their rate from left to right in a snake form. But it could be 1 and 2, running back, cornerback, wide receiver, offensive tackle. It may be that way. I just can't tell from the way they listed it. But that's the experts' team needs. But I went ahead and I made my own team needs, as you can see on the right side of the screen. These are what I would pick, and I believe are our biggest team needs at whatever positional value in the draft. I think we need a running back really badly. We need a wide receiver really badly to pair with Geno Smith for the next 2 years. We need a cornerback. We need an offensive tackle. We need an inside lineman. We need linebackers. Some people might put the linebackers higher than some of the players I got on board. But I like the linebackers they got in free agency, and I think they might work out. So that's why I have the linebackers a little bit lower. Then I put safety after linebacker, defensive lineman. The reason why I have the defensive lineman, whether it be an edge rusher or just a regular defensive tackle or whatever the case may be, is because we got a lot of players on the defensive line that are coming back from injuries, and I'm hoping they all can have a comeback, and then Tyler Wilson can do something at the edge, and Christian Wilkins and these other players will be at least 50 to 60 or 70% their form coming off injuries. Even though it could be a major need for the Raiders if these players do not come back from the injuries as quick or as best as possible, that will reveal a major need on the defensive line. I'm chalking it up to right now. I believe in positivity, and I believe they're all going to come back to form. So that's why I have the defensive lineman a little bit lower on the board. And then I got quarterback at the end, even though it might be upper on your board. I just figured we got Geno Smith, we got Aiden O'Connell, and, we're probably going to draft a quarterback, or we can get an undrafted free agent, and we're going to be okay at quarterback. So I'm putting the quarterback, even though we only got Geno Smith for 2 years, as we spoke about. I figure quarterback is probably the least of our worries as of this moment. I mean, truth is, we do need a veteran backup that's possibly better than Aiden O'Connell. But we might just roll with Geno. You get it? He's on a 2-year leash. We might just roll with Aiden O'Connell and whatever. Let him and whoever we draft or pick up an undrafted free agency or whatever, fight it out for that backup spot. And then if our quarterback goes down, we're fucked. But I figure they might pick a veteran in free agency, somebody after the draft who's available to battle it out with Aiden O'Connell and whatever rookie we draft. They're probably going to get a veteran. It sounds really stupid, but there might be players like Gardner Minshew or crap. I'm not saying we'll get him again, but there'll be players like that might be available after the draft or something like that for a few $1 million if we really needed to go that route. So those are my needs, and I'll leave those on screen. All right, y'all, let's get... Okay, where is that thing that I can get it on screen? All right. Let's start my official mock draft 2.0, y'all. Let's start my official mock draft 2.0. Let me see if I can get it on screen, and we can do it together. Oh, let me show you my mock draft 1.0 first. Sorry, y'all. Let me show you my mock draft 1.0 that I did last Monday. This is my mock draft 1.0 from last Monday. There it is. I went with Ashton Genty at 6. Luther Burden was available at 37, and this is with no trades. Marcus Embo, offensive lineman, 68. Chris Paul Jr., linebacker, 108. Denzel Burke, 143. Jalen Reed, safety, cornerback. Jalen Rivers, Jarquez Hunter, running back out of Auburn, and a Brady Cook to end out the draft. And I paired up Luther Burden with Brady Cook out of Missouri for some sort of chemistry in training camp. That was my mock draft 1.0. Now let's officially get my mock draft 2.0 on screen. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Appreciate you. Let me get it on screen officially. So here it is. We'll start with the top. And I got the team needs on the right. This is mock draft 2.0, y'all, that I did a little while ago. And this one has trades. That's right. And I tried to put the players that visited the Raiders. I kind of looked out for them in this mock draft 2.0. And then by mock draft 3.0, I'm going to put everything together. We're going to have ourselves a good time. And that will be my final draft after educating myself with trades, with visited players. Then we're going to make a mock draft 3.0 finale, and it's going to have all of it included, trades and or the players that visited. But I tried to do half and half of that on this one. At pick number 6, I drafted Ashton Genty. They gave me an A+ on this one. You can't see it on screen, but it's there. I promise you it's an A+. Let me just get rid of a little bit of the ratio of that. Try to unlock the position so I can move it. There you go. So they gave me an Ashton Genty. I picked him. I still think he will fit a need. He's the best player available at number 6. That is a game changer. And they gave me an A+. Now at 37, I went Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was available on this draft out of Mississippi. And quarterbacks, even though he's technically not needed, as we just spoke about on my team needs on the right-hand side of the screen, I couldn't pass up the best player available at 37 being Jackson Dart. I couldn't pass him up. He's moving up on draft boards, and I know we got Geno for 2 years, and I don't want controversy with the Raider fans and Geno Smith if he falters by drafting a player this early and this highly recommended, but I couldn't pass it up. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go with a needed player at that moment. I just couldn't do it. So I had to pick up Jackson Dart. I was like, we got the future now in Ashton Genty and Jackson Dart. And the reason why was a couple of my top-rated wide receivers were gone already at this point. And I'm like, they left the quarterback. Highest-rated quarterback on my board besides the players that have left. And 5 or 6 players or 4 or 5 quarterbacks already went. And we know it's the second round, and a lot of teams are going to go after quarterbacks, and we only got Geno Smith for 2 fucking years. I had to get Jackson Dart. I'm not gonna defend my pick anymore. They gave me an A for it. Even though I have a quarterback as a need really far on the team. Now, reminding you, this was a trade draft where teams called me and offered trades. I didn't work trades where I called other teams and try to propose a trade. I didn't do it that way. I let the computer send me trades, and then I thought about it. Now, the Raiders picked at 73 after me getting Jackson Dart, and there's a lot of players that I want to need, and I need to get up wide receiver, cornerback, defense, etc. And I'm like, man, I need a trade. And I was offered this trade to start round 3. See if you guys can see it on screen a little bit better. How do I make the thing a little bit better? There it is. I got offered in the 3rd round for that 68th pick that we were just looking at. Or did I do a trade before? Yeah, I don't know what happened. But in the 3rd round, I got an offer to go from 6. I don't know what happened. I don't care. Because on my board, I must have lost the 68. Oh, that's right, because I took the trade. That's why they didn't show the 68 pick. Because I traded. I went to 73. That's right. This is the trade I took. I went from 68, 5 positions, to the Jets. And I give the Jets the 68th pick. And they give me the 3rd round 73rd pick. The 4th round 110th pick. The 5th round 162nd pick. And then a round 7 2027 pick. So for moving 5 spots, I got 4 picks for this year's draft and next year's draft in total. So I took that trade. Let me know if that was a good trade to take. And of course, it depends on the players that were available. And I looked at the players that were available that were on my board, my personal board. And I figured I can move down 5 spots and get another one of these players that's on my board while adding picks to this year's draft. So that's the trade I took in round 3. Whoops. And where were we? So I added a bunch of picks to the draft, as we just spoke about. So with those extra picks, in round 3, I took... Oh, wait, what was the picks I got from the Jets? I have to look at it again. Forgive me. I went to 110. That's right, to 110. Okay. So I'm getting confused. It's the first time I've ever done it like this. At 73, the pick I got from the Jets, I took Isaiah Bond, wide receiver out of Texas. They gave me an A for it, according to them. So now I fit almost every need on offense for the future within the first 3 rounds of the draft. I know we got many other holes, and I've just added a bunch more picks. But in my opinion, I added the future 2027 Raiders, as we spoke about earlier, in the first 3 rounds of this draft. Ashton Genty, running back, Jackson Dart, and Isaiah Bond. Now, I got offered more drafts. I got offered more drafts in the 4th round. Whoops, that was the whatever round. I'm getting so confused. Trade 1, round 3, trade 2. There we go. So then, for my 110th pick, the Carolina Panthers offered me 1 pick later at 111. Then they gave me a 5th rounder, and they gave me a 4th rounder in 2026. I took it. I took it to 111. Sounded good to me at the time, so I took it. Now, let's get back to the draft. So after trading with Carolina at 110, even though I didn't show it, whatever, it's all confusing to me. At 108, I picked up defensive lineman out of Tennessee, Omar Norman Lott. Oh, an L. Only nose tackles. And they gave me an A+. Highest rated player on the board at a position of need for our Raiders. Even though I got a defensive lineman a lot further on the board, he was so highly rated. He was supposed to have been taken in the 70s, and he was available on the board, so I had to go best player available. And he does fit a need for the future. And then again, the trade we just spoke about, where I got 111 from moving down, I went linebacker. Same linebacker I got in my mock draft 1.0 draft out of Mississippi, Chris Paul. That's right. Now we got 2 players out of Mississippi. We got Jackson Dart and Chris Paul, linebacker. Fits a need for my Raiders. They gave me an A with that one. And why did we pick him as well? Well, again, Jackson Dart is a player we had interviews with, and he explained how difficult Chris Paul is at the linebacker position. He's in the open field covering tight ends and stuff like that. And I believe Chris Paul would be an excellent fit for the Raiders at a place of need. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is the official round 5. According to my math, I should have did my math a little bit better. But I did a third trade, y'all, in round 5, where I went from 163 to 164, moved down 1 spot. Should have showed that to you later. And I got a round 6 for next year. So I added a bunch of picks in this year's draft by doing these trades. I added 1, 2, 3 for this year, 4, 5 for this year. I added 5 for this year, and 1, 2, 3 for next year. By only moving down 1 spot almost at every time. Only moving down 1 spot at every time. I added that amount of picks. So I freaking love it. And now let's finish with the draft officially. Now at 143, I don't know what round it is. It should have said on screen. Who did I go with? Edge rusher. Best player available on the board out of LSU, a big school. Maybe the Tyler Wilson's replacement in 2 years, Savion Jones. He's down on my board, but I had to go in later in the draft, best player available according to the draft boards and the experts. Because the experts are right sometimes. They really are. I hate to admit that, but they are. And I know I have edge rusher down at the bottom, but I figured out I filled our need on offense, except offensive linemen, early and or cornerback. But I got best players available with pick 108, 111, 143. And I got A pluses for it almost every time. Now at 162, I got cornerback. Now we're finally hitting teams. And the players that have the little red button, that's from the trade. I got that pick in one of the trades that I took. I got Jordan Hancock, quarterback. I always like to put my hand on my out of Ohio State, B+. Out of a big school. A lot of those Ohio State cornerbacks play really, really well. So there it is. Now at 164, I went with Logan Brown. Now I'm finally hitting the tackle position. Because we got Colton Miller and the other tackle that we drafted last year that played decent. We got Logan Brown out of Kansas in the trade. Look at the picks I added through the trades. They gave me best player available, another A+ according to them, at 164. And we fit a need. Then, at 180, Malachi Moore. Malachi, remember that from the movie Children of the Corn? Malachi. Out of Alabama. A safety out of a big school. And why did I pick a cornerback and a safety out of the big schools? Because they play against good talent. So they are a little bit up there in terms of veteran-ish than some of the other players. They gave me an A+. I have almost hit every position on this board, if you will, so far, with all the extra draft picks that I got as well. Now, at 213, with some of the extra draft picks I've added, Tyler Barron, I went with another edge rusher out of a big school, Miami. They gave me a B+. Now, one of these edge rushers might be decent backup to Tyler Wilson or whoever we got at the edge, and they're a future player. I love this draft so far. I'm crushing it. Crushing it. Then at 215, just like in my mock draft 1.0, Jarquez Hunter was available out of Auburn. And I figured I might as well double it up at the running back position because Chip Kelly loves two-headed monsters. Maybe we get a two-headed monster. And barring any injuries to any of the other players in 2027, we got 2 young running backs that we drafted in this draft to hopefully lead our team moving forward. Again, whatever happens with Zeus White, Sincere McCormick, and the other players we already got, I do not know. But I figured we got to double down with Jarquez Hunter. Then at 222, the last man standing, what I call it, Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, the last pick for the team, I picked up an offensive lineman, another one that can move and be versatile, whether it be at guard or center, in Joshua Gray. And I looked him up. He also played at tackle a few times out of Oregon State. And Oregon State, they had a high-powered offense if you look into it. So there it is. There's my official draft. They gave me a B+ on that draft. So I fit on my running back position of my team needs, as you can see on the right side of the screen. For me and my team needs, I added running backs, 2 of them. I added a wide receiver in Isaiah Bond. I added a cornerback or 2 in Jordan Hancock. I added an offensive tackle with Logan Brown. I added an interior lineman that can be versatile in Joshua Gray. I added a linebacker at Chris Paul. I added a safety, Malachi Moore out of Alabama. I added defensive lineman, Tyler Barron, added 2 edge rushers, and Oscar Norman Lott. And I added the edge rushers that we just spoke about. And I added a quarterback in the second round. I fit every team need on my board. Now, depth-wise, we might need more. That's why you go to undrafted free agency. But I love this draft. Let me know what you think of my official draft. Grade it for me. Let me know what I did. But I think I tore it up. My favorite pick from this draft, I got to be honest with you guys, it's Ashton Jeanty and Jackson Dart. I know it's for the future, but I couldn't pass up Jackson Dart, and I believe Ashton Jeanty is an automatic starter for the Raiders. Now, at wide receiver, Isaiah Bond, he could be a depth piece, but he could make the team. And then I love the edge rusher, Savion Jones, out of LSU. I think he might be Tyler Wilson's replacement moving forward. Those are my favorite picks. And I love the backing up of the running back with Jarquez Hunter. I love his film tape that I watched online out of Auburn. He's a big back. He's a bruiser. And Ashton Jeanty can do it all. Those are my favorite picks. The worst pick, to be quite honest with you, I have to say that probably the Joshua Gray interior offensive lineman, but still, I'm not that much of an expert to really understand it. Let me know your favorite picks. Grade my draft, please, and I will see you next Monday with a mock draft finale 3.0. And that one will be my final draft, mock draft for the year, before we actually watch the draft live together and hang out and have a good time. Let me know if you guys enjoyed today's show. That being said, I'm Mikey Raider. I frickin' love you all. And guess what time it is? Time to say goodnight. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. I'm Mikey Raider. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed, stay Raider. And I'll see you on the next video. If there's a topic you'd like me to talk about from my opinion moving forward, or a video you'd like me to make in the next couple days before the draft is official, please let me know down below in the forum, because I am lacking ideas and I need help with that. Let me know, and I'll see you very, very soon. We are also going to try to have a Raiders Roundtable or a pre-draft party as soon as possible. It's still in the works. But you're still going to get some videos from me, and I am going live for the draft. So let's get me crunk, and let's have a beautiful draft date. I'm Mikey Raider. I'll see you soon.
I bleed silver and black, and I wear it with pride. Hold my shield to the sky. I'm a Raider for life. 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 I'm a Raider for life.
Touchdown!